This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today is the 391st consecutive MTG Arena YouTube video. And today, finally, after so many days, we're going to play this Kraken, the Nadir Kraken. This list is inspired by a patron, Brandon, who sent me a list that looked pretty fun running the Kraken. Otherwise, it's mostly the IZZET flash list, but it cut the counter spells to be more of a tap-out deck to try to put pressure on the opponent with Nadir Kraken. And this says, whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on the Kraken and a tentacle creature token on the battlefield. Let's see what to put around it. A whole bunch of things that draw cards so that we can trigger it multiple times if we want to, including Gadwick the Wizened, the Royal Scions, Glimpse of Freedom as an escape card, Opt, Omen of the Sea, Scorching Dragonfire, all kinds of fun things. And then the adventure cards, because adventure is freaking nuts. Basically 2 things on a creature. If you are creating a deck without a sure theme, or something that's mainly built around 1 or 2 cards, and you need to fill it out with some solid cards, just run the adventure cards. Whatever color you're in, run the adventure cards. I think that's a pretty good way to approach it. And so we have a bunch of cheap creature removal that's very efficient to try to support the fact that we're going to be paying extra mana on our turns to make tentacle tokens. So we want to have efficient removal. The unfortunate thing about that is large creatures are going to be a problem. So especially any large creatures with trample. The thing is, those aren't a big part of the meta at the moment. I know about Embercleave, but we have a lot of cheap ways to bounce and interact with the creature that would get the Embercleave in mono red. So as long as we can keep those bad Embercleave moments from happening, the deck might be able to do stuff with a lot of cheap efficiency and card draw. We have 26 land because we need to hit all of our land drops. We're going to use our extra mana to crank into the Kraken, so you can't run out of land. And I've got 3 Castle Vantress, 2 Castle Embereth to give our tentacles a little bit of oomph, make them a little bit stronger. And yeah, 1 Fabled Passage, because there really isn't a good reason not to play the 1 of in a deck where you're supposed to hit 4 lands or higher anyway. There's almost no reason not to play 1 Fabled Passage. Oh, and you should have multiple colors. Not in monocolor decks, then it's just not worth it. But if you're supposed to hit 4 lands or higher, if you're playing a 26 land deck, 1 Fabled Passage probably won't hurt you if you're in more than 1 color. Just throwing it out there. And you should probably consider playing more. Now this deck doesn't have too much to do in the early turn, so I like having the Scry lands. And it does need a good mix of blue and red mana, so it makes sense to have a dual Scry land as opposed to 4 Fabled Passages. Anyway, that's enough mana-based talk for something that's supposed to be fun. Let's dive in. The Kraken Tentacle nonsense is about to begin. There is nothing wrong with this hand. Let's give it a shot. And we're off. Opt. More options. Why not? Seems fine. It's a mountain. It's a Scorch Spitter. What a surprise. It might be Infuriate Gamer. Let's just get that gone. Then we can also opt. Let's hope they kept the 1 mana light up the stage on the draw. Just to see them miserable. Alright, Steamies. So we're looking for removal, and we found it in Bone Crusher Giant. And in Shock. Lovely. Stomp it. Just stomp it right now. Ready to line up another opt here. Land doesn't look bad, especially red land, as we are bottlenecked on 1 red spell a turn right now with 3 in our hand. If our opponent plays the Demigod, oh okay, they're just going straight Giant. Alright. Borrower, we don't want to bounce that. Might have wanted to bounce an Embercleave, but I still think you bottom the Borrower in this spot. There's a Dragonfire. Nice. So yeah, let's keep things dead. If they had an Annex, they would have played it. Now, I'm sure they'll draw one now just to make me miserable. But regardless, I'm also firing things off main phase. In the case of the Giant, you don't want to give them Spectacle for free. Yeah, they drew it. What a champion. What a killer. All right, let's see if we can opt our way into another Scorching Dragonfire before we die. Play this Bone Crusher Giant. Play this tapped. Tempting to hold up the shock, but it's kind of a giveaway of what we're up to. Yep. Cool. And you attack. I mean, I'm blocking. Interesting choice. I'll make some tokens. Ha! You're late. But what can we do here? So I could gun down I could double shoot the Torbrand, but there's also this option where that's like a bad 2-for-1. And there's also this option where I could play a Bone Crusher Giant. The opponent ran right into the last one. But they could have Embercleave. But we don't want to let them get into combat. If they play their 6th land, I guess Embercleave doesn't save their Torbrand. Infuriate is open now. So we'll just say go. Try to wait till the last possible second here. Okay, there's the cleave. What are we targeting? All right, let's throw a giant at it. That resolved too easy. They don't have Infuriate. So let's hang on to this Dragonfire. Actually, so this is a tough decision. If the opponent had another Annex, they would have played it. I think we go for the Dragonfire here and keep the very efficient shock for the next thing that our opponent does with the cleave. But maybe not. This is pretty tough. Gonna go with the shock. You never know where this thing is going to go. The also fun and what some of you might find frustrating is that it probably doesn't matter in the end, you know what I mean? So let's scorch this away now. And as you see here with that decision, since the opponent re-equipped there, it didn't matter. But now we'll play a Bone Crusher. See if the opponent wants to suit this up and try to mingle. Okay, they drew the Annex. Glad we got lucky and drew another one of these. Oh my gosh. It's been a silly game. A silly, silly game. Alright, they're trying to suit up. Nope. Exiled. So this is good. This lets me tilt the race. I can play Scions, pump the Bone Crusher Giant, start hitting here. Alright. And I think that is the best use for the Scions. Try to beat the opponent to death. Because right now, if they suit up the token and attack, it takes 2 attacks to take out the Scions. If they go face, I can win the race. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, we drew a card. That isn't terrible. Looking for playables. Looking for not land. We could attack here. The opponent wouldn't block. What's their attack next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a lot. But if they suit up, am I going to block? If I block with both, this kills this and then that. Yeah. Alright. Looks like I'm probably taking a huge beating next turn. And then we're going to try to counter race. Using Omen of the Sea to tap down whatever holds the Embercleave. Is that lethal? No, it's not lethal. We still have Gadwick to block something with. I guess it depends what they exile with Robber of the Rich. Ooh, they didn't move the Cleave. It's kind of weird. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have to block. That is way too bad. Well, that was a good reason not to use the Bone Crusher Giant. All right, get lucky. That's not that lucky. Not what I had in mind, but we'll dig. Let's see what we can find. 2 Krakens. The cleave is so strong, though. I mean, I could have a 3-4 and a 1-1. And then we put the 3-4 and the 4-3 in front of the thing with the cleave. Is that enough to keep me alive? If the opponent moves the cleave, then they do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In theory, yes. In theory, this keeps me alive. How about the second one? Does the second one help? We'll keep it there for now. Oh, when you build the janky deck and the card you build around shows up at a weird time. All right. Oh my. Oh my. And they didn't move the cleave. Could be huge. Dragonfire. Next turn, baby. Next turn. If there is a next turn. If there's a second Embercleave, I'm gonna cry. Like, a lot. Alright, so... There. There. I can't survive anyway, right? I may as well put this here just to be sure. No, they're looking at the hand. No, no! No! Use Infuriate Gamer! Ah! Why? Why, Infuriate Gamer? Why? This hand is awkward because we don't have enough blue mana to cast this side of Brazen or Gadwick, but we do have early removal and Omen to try to find it, so I'll hang on to it. Emblem Malice. Yes, I feel your malice. That's a good one. Do I need another Omen? Options are fun, but I don't feel like I do. I think it might be a little too tempo negative here, and I'm not even sure what I would want. Okay. What's up with you? You got something. Thrill of Possibility, discarding a boar. I like this already. Not because it's going to work out for me. I have a feeling it won't work out for me. This looks like a Fires of Invention deck, so I probably can't win, but I like that they're not playing the same crap. Seen enough mono red for my entire lifetime in just this week alone. That's a lot of land. Let's not. Borrower might interact okay a few times. It just doesn't get us ahead. That's the problem. Trying to decide if I want to get this tap land out of the way. Gotta play it sometime. I think what my opponent is going to do is play Fires, which I can bounce with Borrower, at least to make it a little more miserable. And what do I want against this deck? I guess I want Kraken. I need to just start accumulating a big advantage. Bone Crusher Giant's probably too small ball to help. Double Thrill of Possibility. Rixmati Reveler. Interesting. What are we dropping off at the pool? So I took this Thrill of Possibility to the graveyard. They must have a good hand if they're discarding the Thrill. Let's go ahead and shock you down. Just in case Blood for Bones is part of the strategy. Alright, let's get this on the field. See if we can untap with it. The opponent might be wrecking me this turn. So tapping out might be risky, but I think we don't win a long game, so I think we have to be aggressive. Yep. Here it comes. Yeah, that's what I get, I suppose. Oh, well, they didn't actually. And then now it goes back to hand. All right. So they didn't get the trigger. That's something. Now we can use those brazen tricks a little bit. We don't want to let this thing get into combat. Headed theft. Out. Rude. Very rude. I was gonna have fun with that. Excuse me. So this is a tough one. I think we have to hold up Borrower because we could just die, but I do want to get a Gadwick on the battlefield because eventually we can tap their stuff, but Borrower can buy us one more turn that way. Drakaseth, the Boar. Sure. So we will bounce that again. Play one of our borrowers to start putting some pressure on the opponent. Giant. All right, let's leave 2 mana up to cast Glimpse of Freedom and tap something and draw 2 cards with the Gadwick. And let's try to turn this mess around. Looked really bad not that long ago. But here comes a big dragon, which God bless you for playing this big dragon, opponent. I can't stress enough that I love that, but you are the opponent that the shuffler has put in front of me, and I must punish you. I must find a way to win. It is but my charge on this earth that we should do battle. All right, let's see what the opponent does. All right, they try to go to combat. Let's play this Borrower and tap down their Drakaseth. They might go for another Storm's Wrath, which would be ouch. Instead, it's the Raise Boar, okay. And the Rixmati, okay. This is gonna be good enough. We got this. All right. Bounce the Boar. Tap the Rixmati. Get surgical. Take him down. Sorry. Best of luck to your red-black reanimation jutsu. I like the hand. Has just about everything we want here. We are on the draw. That is the biggest problem that the hand has. So let's see what our opponent can do. Wood Elf is a green card, but our opponent seems committed to red. I don't want to fall behind on tempo, so I want to shock the very first thing I see. So we're going to shock ourselves to play this land untapped. It's all about tempo here, where we want to go removal, bounce removal, and then play Kraken. We need Kraken on time. Meow. Meow. Get out of here. Get ya heck out of here with that. Okay, your turn. So the opponent has a shock. We can tell from the way that things were passing in the early turn. So that's something to keep an eye on. And we can guess they have some pretty good creatures. There's one of them. But we have a pretty good answer. Just get it exiled immediately. And now we'll play our Kraken and see if the opponent has a way to remove it, or if we get to start cranking out value. Oh, we're reading. Yes. Yes. As you should. You should respect the Kraken. Then we need to keep drawing land. All right, they're going to double shoot it, which, what can you do? They drew both. They had both. No way around it. Now, somebody in my comments, because they do this every time, is going to say, you should save mana till you can Brazen Borrow to bounce your own Kraken. Read the card. If I had a nickel for every time somebody tells me to Brazen Borrow bounce my own thing, that's how I know people aren't playing with the card. Alright, let's find some land drops. You do need to keep the land train rolling for Gadwick. Gadwick drawing a bunch of cards is how we stay in this game. And we keep Scorching Dragonfire because they have a Bone Crusher Giant. And they also has Annex, and those things need to be solved. Those are problems requiring solutions. Alright, good. We're drawing an answer to that very soon. This we should not shock, because right now if we kill it, the opponent gets a token. So we'll do that later. We could use our Brazen Borrower to make our opponent play the Annex again. Might matter. I don't think I go for the Omen of the Sea to try to hit my land drop this turn, though. I think I need all my options going into this turn. And let's see how the opponent wants to play it. Definitely don't want to let them get their Embercleave on the battlefield. So we want to keep them out of combat. So if they try to go to combat, you'll see me has a response. 5th land. 1 card left. And they're going for the giant now. Okay. Well, now they can't play Embercleave if they attack, so we'll let them do that. And I'm thinking I might want to Brazen Borrow this, and then it leaves me a turn to actually play the Omen of the Sea, which isn't nearly as mana efficient. I still want to Scorching Dragonfire it eventually. Of course, I also have to deal with this. But I definitely don't want to borrow that. Alright, so we'll go Petty Theft, bounce you. Take a hit. See if the opponent's last card is Light Up the Stage. We've been doing a good job denying it, but I think at some point you just have to let it go. At some point they're going to get to do it anyway. Yep. I thought really hard about that. So they get another 1/1. So we've got to get something on the field to block these 1/1s. So here's Omen. We need land drops. I prefer them not to be tapped, but I guess I'll take it. There's another Kraken. We'll get you on the field. Scry it up. Castle. Yeah, it's a land. Now we're going to be shocking this champion before the Annex comes down. At least that will be the plan. They drew Embercleave here. It's such a beating, but what can you do? What do you think? They draw a Bone Crusher? Did they draw a Shock? I think we don't block. Since they can't cleave us here, and they probably didn't draw one, I think we're okay. They might have bluffed a damage out of me, but once we get this bigger, we don't have to worry as much. Wow. Just stop with the top decks. Alright, let's pay 1. There's a Tentacle. Let's get a Gadwick and another Tentacle, I think. And see if the opponent can rip something lethal or not. I just need another turn. Now, every time you say that against red, you die, right? But that's the way it is right now. Okay, okay. We're still here, darn it. We're still alive. Those 2 attackers? Well, we could trade off the Gadwick, but I hate that idea. I think we're just putting the 1/1s in front of them. Opponent with 8 lands, but they did have a pair of draw 2s. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for red mages that draw land. Has to happen sometimes. Come down to earth, join the rest of us plebs. Don't know if I ever plan to block with you, but I think attacking here, at some point you have to turn the corner and be aggressive. I don't know if this is that point though. Let's see. If we play this, tap this, we Scorching Dragonfire this. Let's see what happens. If the opponent blocks, we can Dragonfire this now, and then we can tap the giant, keep it out of combat. We're doing that anyway. If the opponent's already going to be down to a pair of 1/1s. The thing is, they can block, activate castle. Yeah, that's not good. If they block and activate castle, that's really bad for us. But this can attack. You gotta start clocking them. Can't let them sit back. They get too strong. We got a game. We got a game. Alright, they want us to shift to combat. Let's tap the Bone Crusher Giant, because it's the thing we don't want to target with the Dragonfire. See how they attack. We'll know something's up if the Initiates get Rumble, because right now there's a free Gadwick block on one of them. Just you. Nope, not just you. All right, so I'm going to line up a Tentacle in front of the Annex and a Gadwick in front of an Initiate and see what the opponent plays. We're going to wait for their action. Huh? Coward. I know nothing, Jon Snow. Getting roped on this one. I understand, been there. Attack block decisions are hard when you're a Wood Elf playing a red deck, or when you're a CGB playing a Nadir Kraken. They have the cleave, make them play it, and target the attachment first. Otherwise, I'm not going to play the Dragonfire. I'm trying to save it till I absolutely have to play it. All right, they say go. Let's scry. I've got enough land. I need action. Action it is. Still growing. So I still have a flash to tap something down and make another token, so I'm feeling good about this attack. We still don't want to attack with Gadwick because Castle can pump these and they just kill it. We could blow it out with a Dragonfire, but that's not where we want to spend our Dragonfire. It's not where we want to spend our Shock either. This game is probably coming down to baiting them into a big play and then having instant speed interaction to mess with that play. Yep. I know they can just kind of pass off their Initiates here, but it's still keeping them under pressure. I think that's where we want to be. I don't worry too much about that token right now. That extra token isn't going to change things. 2 or 3 more might because of the castle. But we have access to a bonus token here, so the opponent's trying to go to the attack step. Let's tap their giant. Draw a card. Brazen Borrower. Is that sweeter than a shock? Yes, I think so. Pay the 1. Petty theft. Actually, let's see. I think I might be able to tap all of my opponent's... Tap and remove all my opponent's stuff so I can kill them with the Kraken if they commit to an attack here. Here it comes. Second Annex. Okay, that's going to make tokens, but they can't block. They can't block. So right now there are 3 things that can block. Let's go with Petty Theft. Bounce this token. Tap this Annex. Dragonfire this Initiate. Game. It momentarily went through my mind that with less than an hour left in the season, the opponent might be trying to get into Mythic. And I thought maybe I should scoop to them, because it might mean a lot to them to get to Mythic. And then I thought, red. It's mono red. I can't do it. And it's fine. It's kind of a mystery box with Opt and Omen here, but we'll see what happens. Temple of Malice. That's enough land. I don't know. I'm gonna guess it's good though. I see Temple of Malice, I think Mayhem Devil. Indeed. And that is something to exile. That is indeed something to exile. Is it worth taking 2 points of damage here to exile? I think so. It also makes these lands enter untapped, so that's nice. Out. Out, kitten. Okay, very, very aggressive version. No, not another Dragonfire. I needed that. Very, very aggressive Aristocrats version here, I think. So, castle, make red, shock. None of this, please. We're gonna need to find a Gadwick or a Kraken pretty quick because I have all these lands and nothing to do. My opponent took my Scorching Dragonfire. I needed that. So very aggressive black-red deck. I think they kept a 1-lander because they scryed to the top when their second land was a Fabled Passage. I don't want to spend my time on this. I need to draw an answer to this now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright. Shuffler has determined my doom. That is something I want. But it means that Butcher gets to 3. That's really bad for me. Well, let's hope the Kraken is as good as advertised here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Kraken, then I'm going to play Op, then I'm going to make a Tentacle, and then we're going to start blocking this Butcher, and that's the best I can do. So if I'm not going to do anything else with my mana this turn, we'll play this tap land and watch as the world burns. Opponent found the oven, yep. Oh, Infuriate Gaming. Oh my god. Oh my god. Am I dead? I'm dead. I am dead. That is one way to do the thing. Ah, it was there. If I had put the Kraken away, I would have... Alright. It was there. Let's just say I didn't expect to take 18 out of nowhere. I would have been okay if I just used my Opt and put the Kraken away. Removal Kraken, I guess. It's probably the last game of my season. I thought for sure it would be mono red. But the opponent plays Forest. I need another blue source, but I also need to hit land. This is tough. This one's like right on the borderline of what I would keep. I definitely can't miss land drops with this hand. All right, let's go. The Gadwicks might come out later, but we want to keep hitting land and using Kraken power. Double Forest go. Let's have our removal spells available. We might still draw an island off the top, so we won't shock the steam vents until we know we have to. Green red. Green red do nothing. Interesting. Ooh. All right, die. Let's go. Let's go, Krakens. Krakens are gonna solo this one. Just you watch. Just you watch. Questing Beast. A Crowan. No! Oh, not cool. I mean, we can bounce it back to our hand, but we could also play another Kraken. And this is gonna come back to me eventually. But the opponent gets to make tokens. Do I care? When it comes back to me, it will be large. Unless they fling it. Should I bounce this? Should I bounce it? I'm playing second Kraken. That's what I'm doing. I know where I belong. I know my job. Good. All right, this is going to have to attack. I'm hoping what the opponent does. What? What? You monster. You selfish monster. All right. We'll do it like this then. Triggers. You want to pump them? I wouldn't mind. I get one of them back. Oh yeah. All right, each tapped creature, nothing. Give me this. Okay, I'm going to have to attack. I'm trying to let them set up for their blocks that they might want to make, and then I Brazen Borrower. They hit it with the oops. They have the Questing Beast. Okay. So we gotta bounce that, right? Or else we have to attack into it anyway. So we Petty Theft you. Oops. Opponent likes the emotes. I'll play with you. So do I pump this? Because I can tap the Kraken and then I get it back, right? So this has to attack, which these tentacles can block it. Actually. So, yeah, I just have to pay, right? It has to be kind of okay that I lose one of these. Opponent. My opponent's funny. Sucks, I know. There we go. So we want to assign the... Oh, I thought for sure they would throw this one under the other bus. So here we want to assign the damage to the tentacle. We don't want this to die. Because we're going to get it back. Oh my god! So many oopsies. I can't tell if they're being real. Alright, let's draw a card. Let's see if they make another tentacle before passing it back to me. If they do, it's big enough to spar with the Questing Beast. Which maybe they don't want. Yeah, Gotta think about this one. It's an interesting decision. If you give me back the 4/5, then I can kill your Questing Beast mode, but at risk of losing my Kraken. Oh. Oh. I like this big red green deck. It makes me smile. It has a lot of Timmy in it. It's kind of, it's a very jolly green deck, which I probably thought of because of Jolly Green Giant. And what do they do with these castles? Do they have the Voracious Hydra in their deck? Oh, it's gonna get real fast though. Kraken power. Alright, so we'll play the Opt. That will tap down the Cavalier. Sure. Seems good. Make them bigger. So do I make one more? I have a Brazen Borrower that can tap the Questing Beast, but I'm not too worried about the damage anyway. Maybe I should be. Behold, my tentacle friends. It doesn't sound good. That sounds bad, to be honest. Should I save all the 1/1s? If the opponent wants to trade the 1/1s, that's fine. I don't want to trade the Gadwick for the tentacles. Oh, we got an oops. So many oopsies. Anybody else getting triggered? Okay, let's see if the opponent can beat me. Can they beat the Tentacle army? Next turn we have the castle with the tentacles. It's all coming together. It's all going as planned. Please don't 13 me out of nowhere. So if they play the Questing Beast, they can play Questing Beast and Embercleave here. That's good for 10 damage with Questing Beast. It might be good for a lot more with Cavalier. I mean, I think I got him, but I've been wrong before. Okay, so they don't have the mana for Embercleave anymore. If they did, I would Bone Crush this, just to keep them off of it. Just you. No blocks. All right, so stomp this thing. Because it's the same as Stomping Face, it prevents 2 damage, basically. All right, triggers. Let's decline. Yep, good game. Tap you. And then we can attack with all. I smell a trap, though. So is this lethal? On its own it is, so I don't need to use the castle. Can let this resolve, and that's game. I literally had thoughts going through my head like, does Root Snare work if my opponent controls a Questing Beast? That would be quite the oops. All right, we're gonna leave it there. I had a really good time playing this deck, and would I change anything about this deck? It's customizable. I wasn't impressed by the Royal Scions. I haven't been impressed by this card in quite a while, so I could see cutting it, but it does work pretty well with the Krakens, so I'm into it. Love the Gadwick, love the adventure creatures, and yeah. I don't think I would make many alterations. You could run an Ox if you want to, but the plan is never to be empty-handed. You always have something to do with your mana, so cards seem to build up in your hand and Gadwick draws them. Yeah, I love it. It's a very fun deck. I think that you should try it out. And with that, I would like to say thank you for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.